No, ma'am, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's
if I walk in the dress barn, right? The dress barn, I used to work for them as a manager. And merchandising was all about exactly what you're saying. Taking a million pictures, putting that stuff up, making it flow. I still had unprofessional assistant managers. I still had unprofessional employees. But that's what you just said. I thought the question was, what does professional look like for you in branding? In product placement? Isn't that what it was?
It was in products.
Right.
So, well, I mean, it's kind of
dirty merchandise don't make sense.
It's kind of obvious to what we spoke about earlier in terms of customer service. So you walk into whatever store it is, whether it's retail or herbal, you want your customers to be able to categorize real easy. As soon as they walk in the door, you got 5 seconds for them to go, I want that, I want that, I want that. I walk in the morning, and I keep using Marnie's store because I've been in her store, and she's the one with the store here. But I'm coming to your store soon. So we'll be talking about you next month. No. And when you come in, it's like right there. So you know what you want. Because if it's out of order, if she would have had the honey and then some books and then some tea and then some honey and this, I'd have been okay. I want to see whatever honeys. I have to go to the other part and skip 3 lanes to go. But she doesn't have it that way. There's a flow. It has to be a flow when you walk into a store, because 9 times out of 10, and I suck in marketing, but I know this much. 9 times out of 10, when you walk into a store, the customer does not know what they're looking for. I walked into Marnie's store and I went because I saw on Facebook. I said, I want to see what this girl got. Shit, I be seeing a lot of stuff that looks good. But when you walk into the store, there's something has to hit you to go, I want to investigate a little bit more. So presentation is everything.
Yeah, but I agree with Mark. That has nothing to do with professionalism.
It doesn't. But Actually, it does. When you think about it. If you think about it in terms of if everything was just thrown up there, how professional are you really that somebody's going to come back if everything is thrown together when they walk into your store?
But see, that's how we see it as business owners. That's not how the general customer sees it. They lump it all together.
Okay.
That's the way Troy's coming from it. When you're just somebody you don't know about business, they lump it all together. Yeah. So if they walk in your store and let's say you may have just found those dirty shirts thrown up under a display and you trying to pull them out to go throw them away, and then somebody walks in, they see dirty shirts, and first thing I'm thinking is, oh, wait a minute, they're not professional. Well, to us, it's different, but to the general public, most of them, that's like...
They kind of categorize.
Yeah. Right. So we know how to break it down into different things. So if we walk into somebody's store, like Marnie said earlier, we could walk into somebody else's store, and one of you had said the same thing. We know, okay, baby, in our minds, we understand, okay, you may be late, you may have had a situation, you may not have been able to open up on time, you may not have been able to get your merchandise on time, but I understand, thinking to yourself, I'm a business owner, I understand this. But the general person will be like, oh, I'm not coming back. You don't have your stuff on the shelves and your stuff, you're late, you're 3 hours late. You know what I'm saying? So when people don't know, they don't understand. And the thing is, and I hate to say it, most of the Black community, they don't truly understand because you don't have a large population of the Black community owning a business. You may have one Black person who owns 3 different businesses. You get what I'm saying? 3 different types of businesses, so they understand. More white people understand because you have more white people who own small businesses or they worked in their family's business or whatever, so they can understand and give empathy and sympathy for any type of small business. Doesn't matter what your race is. Our race just does not totally understand the full breakdown of everything. And I really feel that we have to educate our community on all of it from the very beginning of, you want to start a business? What type of business? Do you have a business plan? Where do you plan on being? Are you going to be a brick and mortar? Are you going to be online? How are you going to advertise? We have to educate, because even if they don't want to start a business, it will give them sympathy towards other people who are starting a business, and they'll understand why. They may come to Marnie's shop, and Marnie may typically open at 11, but she had to put a sign up that says emergency will be back at 12, and they won't be pissed off that I'm not coming back. She doesn't care. And they'll be like, okay, wait a minute. We learned all of this. You know what I'm saying? We learned all of this. Yeah. She said an emergency should be back at 12. I'm going to come back at 12 because that means it wasn't. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But we've got to educate our community. We really have got to get on that.
Hold on, let's go to the next person. We had a comment come in. Miss Lakeisha, she was saying depends on the product as well. So depending on the type of store you have, that is going to depend on how professional it is, how you basically do your merchandising.
I think that we're also confusing the word professionalism with other words underneath business. Right. Merchandising, you talked about programming, you talked about business operations. Those are different things that, yes, I think that's the root of the problem here, is we don't recognize that, we don't know that. And we always lump it in under professionalism, which it does kind of fit under that umbrella if those are the best practices and it changes. But that's what I was saying earlier with, like what you said, you walk into a store and you don't know what to do. In business, that's called programming. It's a program that you run for your brick and mortar that tells people what to do when they come in. As African Americans, we don't have access to that information.
Yeah. So, okay. That's the same thing she says. She says she sets the tone first, and then second, how the product is delivered, presented, or displayed.
She runs the program.
Okay, go
in her room. That. So, like in the tea house, when you come in, there's a program that I'm running. When you come in, you know where to pay. You can kind of go and you can kind of see the flow of things. Okay. I learned that by default from a white businessman who was my landlord. He said, "Let me help you out. I don't know, I don't know what's going on in here. That's the problem. When you walk in, you got to have a program. Right. If something is not selling, your program is off. Fix the program right there. Does that make sense? If something's not, if people come in and a lot of people don't know what to do, you got to fix the program. The programming is you need signs to tell people what to do. The policy, right? Action. Merchandising is changing, moving your display, making sure it gives the right angles, the light. People, that's why bigger businesses do well because they have someone who runs merchandising. They have someone who runs programming. They have someone, when you used to work, Target, I used to work at Target too. How many months you get? I used to work at Target too. They give you a little thing that says, okay, do the end caps like this and run it, because they are running a program on you. They are conditioning you to spend your money. This is the education that we're missing in the African American community when it comes to business. And we're just putting it on our own. We're just doing what we can, picking up here. And there's nothing wrong with that. We that's what we, and so that's why the education is important, to have people that understand that, because when you can compartmentalize and do those things, then you become the ultimate professional of your business. Right.
Hey,
Marnie, if that makes sense.
Marnie, so would merchandising be considered a subcategory of programming?
Programming, yes.
Okay. Good. I just wanted to make sure. I thought that's what you were saying. So we got to understand the levels.
Right.
And we got to realize
know how that bracelet should look with this shirt. You know what the look is going for. Yeah. So you want to program someone else to see that when they come in, because let's say this is a new product. So you put your new product up front near the window. And you do a whole campaign for that on social media. They pay people for that. So this is the deficit in Black business, because you're the merchandiser, you're the programmer, you're the social media person, you're the owner. And you don't even know what you're doing, because you don't know I'm doing merchandising, I'm doing programming, I'm doing all these different things.
And then that's why the businesses suffer so much.
Right.
And that's why we see so many Black businesses pop up, and within 6 months they're gone because they're frustrated and they don't know what to do because there's no one out there to let them know. Let's break this down and do ABC 1, 2, 3. Yes. I've been through it. Let me show you how we need to do this. Right. If we do more of that, we can help each other. We can help these young kids, even older people who want to start businesses. We can help them and help ourselves, and we can be like a well-oiled train just going on down the track. But we need that education.
And at this point, the compassion thing was what I meant, as far as is because before 2020, before the straw that broke the camel's back with George Floyd, we would just all, you're just doing your own thing. And you're not being as compassionate because you're looking at this business as, okay, you just like Target. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing your stuff. I'm going somewhere else. At this point, I think that we do have to have compassion and understand with that, because we cannot afford to keep going where we've been going in business, because businesses not only keep us from going into the Federal Reserves, the small businesses, that's what keeps us afloat. But we recognize that when we don't have what we need in our own community, we don't have we go outside of the community, but when they run out of stuff, they're not giving it to us. Or if they don't have enough, it's not being shared. You got to go put in this application and tell me all your experience, but I can't tell you about programming. Like those grants, the micro grants that are coming down, those are beautiful things. I'm grateful. But if you try to get a grant before without a grant writer, you're right, understanding and all this kind of stuff, it can be difficult and daunting. So 6 months, I quit.
Yeah. I think we have a responsibility in the Black community as business owners that before, and I learned this by default, before we go shoving something out to social media or however we're going to do our launch, to educate ourselves. If somebody, my mother, God rest her soul, she used to say to me, she said, I wrote my first book. She says, oh my God, you're going to be like Oprah. And I laughed. I was like, I don't see Oprah money. I don't see Oprah anything. But I understood what she meant in terms of make it your business to continue to get educated on whatever it is you're trying to do. Don't leave it up to anybody else to teach you. So when I did that by default, let's be real, I did it by default. I sat in front of Oprah. I'm just saying. But we have a responsibility to educate ourselves. I think sometimes, not everybody, so I'm not saying everybody, but sometimes some of us make it someone else's responsibility to teach us how to do what we want to do. When we're talking about business plans, even though, yes, they are outdated for the most part, but if nothing else, it teaches you what your goal is, what you're trying to do, who your niche is, and is it even needed in the community that you're trying to sell it to? And we have to teach ourselves that. We have to step back for a second and be like, you know what, I'm just going to work and steak and shake until I figure this out. But when we do go in there, go with education that we've learned from, you have to look at people who've already did what you're trying to do or similar to. Yeah. And mimic them. Why some of us try to reinvent the wheel and we want to blame our failures on, I'm going to go there with the white folks. And we just can't do that. We have to blame self for not taking a moment to step back and look at what's my goal. And when you look at all these MLMs, and I'll make this quick, you look at all these MLMs and they're like, what's your why? What's your why? And in reality, it's true. What is your why? Why are you opening a business? I don't open a business for the 6 figures. I want when I say 6 figures, I need to be more clear with that because I'm not aiming for 6 figures. I'm aiming to be debt free. Yeah. I'm aiming to have a mortgage free house like across the street who's sitting back going to play golf. I don't want to play golf, but I want to know that my house is paid for and that my business is actually making a difference in my community. But it's my responsibility to get out there, pick up a book, turn off social media, turn off reality television, and read something that's going to help me help others.
And so Dr. Claude Anderson, if y'all are all familiar with him in Powernomics, he always talks about we have within our community an illicit relationship with the ball, right? Whether it's a basketball, a football, a baseball, right? We have an illicit relationship with balls because sports has always been a way out, right? And we have to step back and we have to focus on education in entrepreneurship, not just education for the sake of education, right? There's a point and place and time for that, right? We should pursue higher education, but we should also be teaching our kids by the age of 12 how to start a business. Mm-hmm. Because when you start a lemonade stand, it's not that you're starting a lemonade stand for Instagram. You're learning how to brand and market. Yes. You're learning how to buy products. Mm-hmm. You're learning how to take those products and make a custom formula, trademark that formula, and sell that as your brand. Mm-hmm. Not only that, when you sell that, you're learning how to sell at a retail price and then turn around and buy those products at a low price.
Right there.
Right, at wholesale, and then take that combination of products and then create that retail brand. Mm-hmm. And then you learn how to do that over and over again. Mm-hmm. The whole process of starting a lemonade stand is not about selling lemonade. It's about learning the tactics of business as a practice, right? When someone's in school and they're learning math, you're learning math not for the sake of math. You're learning math for the exercise of how to extend your brain to think through things, right? So people say, why do I need to learn all this, right? And most people in life, unless you're going to become a rocket NASA scientist, you're not going to need all of that math. But you will need to know how to calculate formulas. You will need to understand statistics with your customers. right? So it's exercise. And when you exercise your brain, if we teach our kids how to exercise their brains as younger kids with small businesses, right? Lemonade stands or selling water or selling whatever, right? Then we prepare them when they get a little older how to do that better, and then they can teach themselves how to fish from there.
Yes, even trades, man.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, Bantu Cola, shameless plug, is the shit. I went on there because I've had horrible experiences with maintenance people in my home. And I was like, okay, well, it's 2020. I'm finna get one. I got a plumber, high-tech plumbing.
Awesome.
From Bantu Cola, most professional, best prices. But this was the kicker. I admired the fact that he brought his grandson with him and was teaching him the business. Because that's sustainability. He's teaching him outside. Oh, Mr. Wendell.
Mr. Wendell Worship. Mr. Wendell Worship. High-tech plumbing. Call high-tech plumbing.
His son, and this was the kicker. We think that, okay, so professionalism all the time. I was like, ooh, it was just everything that I loved about his business, his way he called me back, making sure he was there when he was set. Those things are best practices for a professional. Yeah. Okay, that's professional. But what made me want to share him and go, it was he brought his grandson. He put his grandson to work. He was teaching him the business of the trade. Not only that, he's teaching him something sustainable. Everybody's gonna need a plumber. Not only that, I paid him for 2 hours, $700. That's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was beautiful, because every other quote that I got from everyone else, and I'm not gonna say whatever, was 10 grand and 4 grand. Wow. But they didn't think like he did. He thought differently. And I think that's something that we have within our own community, is the ability to think outside of the box. I think if we foster that more, because we're so creative. And it's the best showers I've ever taken.
But you know what? I observed that same thing just yesterday with Frank. He brought his son in, and they just kind of like visualized how they was going to set things up.
Now, Frank who?
Profit. Triple X.
You say Frank Broughton?
Frank Broughton.
DJ
Yes, he brought his son in, and they were just like talking about how they're going to set everything up. And I just sat back and I admired that. I was like, okay, well, he could raising a mini him.
Because even if
he
his
can do the same thing, even if
don't
he's not
want the
here.
business, he has the know-how and the knowledge of it. So even if he had to train somebody to work for him, he could.
We're going to take a question from online. All right, Ms. Dee says, as a teacher, what should I impart to my young students so they are more business-minded? And I'm going to go ahead and start this off with Vice Principal Willie Demps.
Well, as a teacher, you have the opportunity to influence your students. You can bring in professionals and have them, talk about what they do, and in those days spark interest in those students' lives. And I've seen them. I didn't say it, but I'm one of the owners of S.L. Jones Christian Academy, and I'm a vice principal there. And it just having professionals come in really sparks the kids' interest. And a lot of times they don't know exactly what they want to do, but when they can visualize it and they can see it and they can see that success in front of them, it gives them some goals. It gives them some things to think about, some dreams, some hopes. Because a lot of times kids just don't know, what to be. They haven't been exposed to, seeing different professionals. All they know is, doctor, lawyer, basketball player, sports player, or something, a rapper. So when they see a computer engineer come in there and talk to them and say, hey, this is what I do, or they see somebody that's a chemist or something that makes stuff that comes in there, that is a powerful tool. So I would say, bring some outside help in and have different professionals come talk to your students so they can visualize and see, what it is, what they might want to be when they grow up.
Anybody else want to get on the question?
I think that's a great thing. Teachers don't do that as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. We used to bring a professional or whatever you want to call it day or whatever, but I don't think they don't do it as much as they do. I'm not from here. Troy knows I'm from Louisiana. Most of my family were educators, and it's things that they did that a lot of my family members did things, and the things that they did that they are noted for, we didn't find out till they passed away. Because with them, it was we're doing what we're doing for our Black community because our Black community needed it. I'm listening to eulogies and I'm finding out stuff and I'm whispering to my family, did they do such and such? They were like, yeah, because their whole thing was they saw what was going on. They lived through everything. They wanted to bring the Black community together. So what they did was they were the role models. You know, they had people come in, they had their gatherings for the kids, they educated the kids, but they also had events where mortician, you know, they'd have a mortician come in, you know, things like that. They had my grandmother right there on the corner where she lived, the people lived on the corner, they owned a little tiny mom pop little convenience store. It was like probably the size of a small bathroom. You get what I'm saying? They sold little things out there, but you saw it with your own eyes. You know, the educators, they let you know what they went through. I mean, you have people who were plumbers and everything else, but you got to see it. Mm-hmm. They got to tell you. They went on and they do other things, but they'd still come back and they'd still educate the community on everything they have been through. So here it is, you're 20, 30, 40 years old. Oh, I remember when she taught me in school, and then she went from teaching me in school to being the director of the funeral home. And then she went from being the director of the funeral home to doing, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. They didn't have all these scandals behind their name. Mm-hmm. You know, they weren't like living from pillar to post. They had their issues like everybody does. But they had issues like we all do, but they were professional in everything they did, and they made sure that the lifestyle that they led was something that these kids could see as a positive so that they'd be a role model. So you could have been a plumber. You didn't have to be rich, but they knew, okay, you knew a trade, and they'd take these kids in, and they'd be like, and they'd ask them, you know, do you want to learn this trade? You know, what do you want to do? And they'd have like little sessions to teach them. So I think we need to get back to that. You know, mentoring, like when you had your shop, you had a little couple of kids come in there and, you know, you did them as little interns to learn how, you know, about learning how to sell, you know, how about customer service. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to that, because if their mom or their dad, let's say their mom and dad don't own a business, they work for Target, McDonald's, whatever. But if you own a business and you're like, you know, let me mentor your child. Let your child come in, you know, twice a week. Let me show them about how they can, you know, start their own business and get to. I think that would inspire these kids to do something besides thinking I need to have a basketball in my hand or a football in order to be somebody, in order to do something, in order to make a change in this community. You know, oh, you know, we have a summer program. Why don't you come to the summer program, you know, learn about teaching, because they may want to be a teacher one day. You know, we need to start doing that. And I think this will help these kids realize I am more than what
they say I am.
They say I am, more than what I see kids my age doing that they shouldn't be doing, more than what I see going on in my community. Mm-hmm. I'm more than that. I'm valuable. I'm worth something. And we need to show them that they are. Yeah. And we're going to give them more perspective of what they need to be and give them inspiration as to who they can see themselves as being. Mm-hmm.
So being married to a teacher, I understand what you say about education. One of the things I know about teachers, especially in our local atmosphere and economy, they have very little say-so about what they get to do now. Mm-hmm. In the past, teachers had more freedom to actually explore those topics, and they have very little say-so now in what they do. They have such a time schedule to meet testing standards above all things at this point in time. You have to meet this standard, and if your kids don't pass, your livelihood is tied to that, regardless of whether the kid was acting like they were playing a video game, whether they were hungry, or whether they had a bad day at the house because mom was beating dad or dad was beating mom or somebody was smoking crack.
I want to go say that.
Reality.
I mean, but all of that to say, I do agree that having kids exposed to professions is very important, whether it's the plumber, whether it's the business owner, whether it's the small business. And I think if you're in elementary, again, learning the small business concepts are very important. In middle school, if you're a middle school teacher, trying to figure out how to have a business fair where they create their own businesses and market that, maybe play in the stock market or mock stock market. I think will be good values. If they're in high school, you should be starting a business online, right? You should be selling T-shirts, something. I don't care if you sell 2 T-shirts for the whole year. You created a business and you understand the value of economy. You understand product. You understand marketing. You start to understand branding. And when you go through those exercises, although it may be hard, you get to a point where you start to earn it and learn it as you do it over and over and over again, right? Sell something out your closet on eBay, right? However you need to do that to learn entrepreneurship as a skill. Not everybody's going to be a great entrepreneur. Some people will make great employees and get paid really, really well, and they will make some entrepreneur very rich, and both of them will win, right? But for those, if we teach those skills, we teach people how to fish. At some point in time, they know how to fish. They know how to go back and build a fishing rod, put that rod out in the water, and try and figure out how to feed themselves without depending on the system.
I'm going to say this, though. I'm also a teacher at SL Johnson, the high school computer teachers. We had a career fair there. And I remember there was some Navy pilots come out. A couple of our kids got sponsorships to do the summer program, which thanks for on. But I'm going to tell you, Chef Farad, I forgot his name on Facebook, but I was a chef. He came out there, and he's not your typical chef. You know, he's lived his life. He went through his little situations, turned his life around, became a private chef. And a couple of our kids that gravitated towards him because this is what they see. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a representative of what they see every day. So they went up to him, and before I knew it, pretty much every dude that was in high school that, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but that is your typical kid that, no, I'm just going to write you up. I'm not even playing with you today. The kids that, they're a little bored, get in trouble, they had gravitated to him. Now, these are some of the kids that other teachers just was like, I'm not dealing with this. But since then, he's giving them jobs. Oh, wow. He does catering. So he's brought them out to events. He's put money in their pockets. Wow. He's mentored them. Yes. So, yeah, I agree. Bring professionals. What was her name? Evie? Mm-hmm. Evie, yeah, bring professionals. Let them see something else that they normally don't see.
I think that the issue, though, for teachers is, like we said, all the rules that they have, bringing in people and all that stuff. So I think that today we have to get creative and out of the box. And with everything going online, an enrichment time in the class should be 20 minutes on a Zoom call with a chef. Right. You know what I'm saying? 20 minutes on a Zoom. If you get creative, and then and exposing them based on their gifts. If you're teaching and you know your kids and you see one as an artist, a very artistic, or you have a group, then you know what professional you want to bring in. Mm-hmm. You want to bring in Carter J. You get what I'm saying? Or you get what I'm saying? Or
the way we did.
I'm just giving an example. You want to bring in an artist. You get what I'm saying? To even on the Zoom call, just so they can see, a little bit about it. They can see their studio, whatever. But I think that's really more so with teachers. Their issues is their constraints of being able to bring people in now. Unless you have a private school or something, it's very hard to just bring people in to speak. Sometimes where is it going to be at in the curriculum, all this kind of stuff. But you can schedule a 20-minute Zoom call.
Well, my boss is kind of cool, so
yeah.
Bring them.
But that's just for BB. But that's because you got a cool boss. Everybody don't have a cool boss, so they got to think outside.
We have a comment. Hold on, come right. Oh, I'm gonna go to you first because I want you to talk about yourself. All right. My teacher, Mr. Peters, always delivered the same respect he asked for in the classroom. He addressed me as Mr. Davis, yes, sir, or no, sir. He always told us that I look more respectable if you pull up your pants on your waistline, have your appearance demand the respect that you expect someone to give you. Mr. King, he always said, do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do. Like
that's true.
All right, so Tunisia. That's fine. All right, so she started making shirts a while back. And then the crazy thing happened. Her son actually started making shirts. So tell us about that, Jerry.
Yeah, so and it's kind of funny, and that's why I think we as parents have to pour into our children because that plays a major part. I'm very creative, so I've started my business, so I'm in every one of my children's face. Like, what is it you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you like to do? Let's go here, let's go there, let's buy this, let's do this, all that kind of stuff. But he decided to sketch out his own T-shirt design, and to my surprise, and this is, he was doing better than me, y'all. I have been selling T-shirts for about 2 years, and he started, and within a week, he was shipping out shirts to different. And the thing about it, wow, his mindset was completely different from mine. I was like, okay, $20 a shirt. He was like, 45. I was like, 45, Christopher, break it down a little bit. But the people were buying them, and he was shipping them out to like 5-10 different states. So I was like, that, and that showed me that it was in him. It just had to come out. So I had to kind of pull it out. So he drew it, he sketched it, I designed it, and I'm like, okay, sell them. You do what it, because I'm like, okay, tongue hanging out. What kind of, it's not my type of, but it's his, it's his thing. Generation, yeah. And the children gravitated to it. So he was selling them at school. I'm like, Christopher, you can't be out, at school selling shirts. But, he was selling them, but but it took me as a parent to realize that, okay, it's something on the inside. And this has even made me step up, because this Saturday, I'm pretty excited. I've actually started a youth entrepreneur program where I'm meeting with some girls between 10 to 15, and I'm going to have each one of them sit down. What is it that, it's going to be lip gloss, hair bows. They each, have a thing they want to do. So we will definitely sit down. I have a journal for them. I have their own shirt. We're going to do their logo. I'm going to push these young ladies, because I believe that is what it's about. The only issue that I find is some parents don't want to invest. And I think we, African Americans, we have to invest in our babies. That's a lot of the things that I kind of run into. You will invest, for a Michael Kors purse, but you don't want to invest $20 for a registration. I mean, what sense does that make? You get no return with the purse, but you can possibly get a, return. So we, in our community, I find, and even when I do events, I take my children to places, sadly, it's a lot of Caucasians. They're pushing their children. They're like, okay, you get out there, like you say, sell that lemonade. I mean, but their children get the idea. So that's like, I'm like, my daughter, what do you want to do? Oh, you want to do tutus? Okay, let's do tutus. I go buy everything. If she decides to change her mind the next week, I'm not mad. I'm like, okay, what did you want to do this week? Because we still, it's just like me with every business owner. You have to figure out what it is, you want to do. And even with children, it's the same way. We have to pour into them.
I think part of it is we got to change our mindset.
Our mindset, yes.
The Black community has the wrong mindset. Completely. The Black community still has, number one, the crab
and barrel
mentality. We don't want to see someone doing better than us. And I've always said this, and I hope people don't take it the wrong way, but a white person will support a white person against us.
Yes.
Okay? Whereas we will support a white person against us.
You know what I've noticed too about that? So, say as a Black business, a brick and mortar store, a white person, so you have a store, minority owned. If you have a bunch of minorities in the store, a white person will go somewhere else.
Yes.
We.
Yeah.
So why is that? Is that crab mentality, or is it just we think it's better?
No, with us, when I say crab mentality, I mean I've seen a lot of Black people not support Black people because they don't want them to get ahead of them. They don't want them to get higher up than them, make more money than them, get to a higher level than them. I've seen that for years. That's not the mentality you're supposed to have. I was raised where you support each other. And when I look back on the years, like Troy, my grandmother, she just died at 94 at the end of 2018. She had more Black people do stuff for her than white people. Okay. She had a Black man who came and painted her house because at a point she and I couldn't get out there and paint it anymore. So she would have him come do it. He would spill paint outside and everything. She'd fuss. Look at him spilling his paint. And I paid good money for this. but she didn't go change who was doing it. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? The yard man who still comes and cleans the yard is a black man. You get what I'm saying? My family believed in supporting black businesses, plumbers and everything else. Now, if she called you out to the house and you said, honestly, Miss Ruth, I don't know everything that goes into it, I don't have all the equipment, then she's going to look for somebody else. But she supported you. All my family's done that. My dad has his own company, things that have to get done. Black. His mechanic is black. And it's not an intentional thing, but his thing is he's a small black business. People supported him, so he's trying to give back. We have to learn how to do that and not say, oh, wait a minute, we have the same type of business. She has more customers in that store.
Right.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to do something about that. No, we need to support each other, because if I come support you with your store, Marnie, and put your store out there, you may go out there and throw Jennifer's business out there, and then Jennifer may throw mine. You get what I'm saying? We got to all work together. We can't say, oh, they made more money than me. It's not. We got to learn too. It's not about the money. It's not about
me
the
and Marnie
money.
was in the same type of business, and we've done hair shows together.
See?
We worked together,
And y'all can still work
Yeah.
together. And it wasn't this thing about, oh, she has more clients than me, she makes more money. We have to change our mentality of the crab mentality, but we have to change our mentality on helping our children. Because if we can't set an, even if we can't do it, even if we're not creative to start a business, we need to support our child's dream in wanting to do that, because there are a lot of people of other races who did not have the money, the education, or anything else, but they knew how to support their child or their niece or their nephew, or whoever it was, to get to that next level. That's what we have to do, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Say that again.
You can plant the seed.
We have to. Look at you. You know with Danielle, between seeing you and her daddy with businesses, what did Danielle say she wanted to do? She wanted to start a business, right? We do T-shirts. She started doing T-shirts in Virginia. She always said, I'm not creative. I've always been creative, but always been artistic. My kids said, I'm not like that. I was like, you don't know what you're good at until you try it and play with it. She played with it. She is really good at it. She started her business doing vinyl T-shirts, and she joined this little child-free group.
Wow.
She just started with one little phrase. What is it? 99? I have 99 problems, and a kid ain't one, because she and her husband don't want kids. She started with that one T-shirt.
I hate kids.
Yes. Y'all know what? They paid her. But guess what happened? Then people were like, well, can you do me a shirt? I have cats, I have dogs. She did that. Then they were like, well, can you start doing this? And one shirt somebody wanted her to do. We read it, but they wanted. Mom, should I do it? I said, do whatever you want. I said, as long as it's legal and it's moral, because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself, because you put it out there. So there's this one shirt. She told the person, I cannot morally do it for you. She went from doing that to doing all this other stuff. Yeah. She's done boxers. She's done bookmarks. She's done mugs. You get what I'm saying? But she saw her uncle and her daddy. And she said, Mama, from watching those two, that made me want to do it. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what she's doing, and she's gone taking off of what she's done. But we have to show them, invest in, and even if you don't have the money, the words of encouragement will always stick in their minds. Because when my kids say, Mama, I can't do that, oh yes, you can do it. You just got to put your mind to it and decide what you want to do. So even if you can only invest $5 or $10, even if you can only say, baby, I can take you to that event, I cannot, do this or whatever. Even if you can just get them a little bit of research, or get them a name of somebody who can help them, who's willing to help them, that will help these kids realize, I have potential. My parent is behind me. These people don't understand. If you know that your parent, one of your parents, your grandmother, your grandfather, your mama, daddy, sister, brother, whoever, if you have one person behind you to push you, these kids can take off. And they can do, they just need one person to believe in them.
We had a comment say generational wealth. When the parents stick behind the kids, looking for family members to start businesses. There goes Danielle's dad right there for y'all to know. He started out with the T-shirts, and now, Danielle just took off. So,
Yeah.
all right, we're going to switch things up a little bit. We're moving on to social media, and we're going to switch it from professionalism to unprofessionalism. What is a typical, not a typical, but what's an example of an unprofessional social media site? Anybody?
A particular site is what you're asking?
No, I'm just saying not a particular site.
Or are you talking about us
Or if
posting
there's-
as a business?
Anything on social media.
Okay, well,
It depends on the business.
Putting your
If I'm a
Putting your
porn
personal
business,
stuff.
what is unprofessional in my business? You get what I'm saying? Like if that's my business, it's porn, right? So that would be unprofessional. But in somebody else's business,
Right.
that's not unprofessional. So it depends on
On
the
the business.
word is I think is just
Okay,
not.
so
But
I
if
feel
you-
like that question, how I phrase it. Well, let's switch it up then. How important is social media for a business? How about that?
It's the number one thing right
Reputation
now.
is everything.
Reputation.
Reputation is everything. If you have a business, you have a social media page, and you got personal issues going on at home or argument with your girlfriend or your homegirl or whatever, you cannot, although people do, get up on social media and blast all of that. That be this,
Yeah.
or this dude, this, and that. You cannot do that.
the next post is buy my product.
Yeah, on sale
You can't do
now.
that on the same
Heartbreak
page. You can't do that on
Right.
the same
You
page.
have to remember
Running
You
a
can do that shit
special.
on your own page.
Yeah.
Right. But when
Yeah.
your business page,
Yeah.
I don't need to know about you. I'm
Okay,
trying to find
okay.
But when you're on social media,
As a small business, how thin is the line from a professional page to a personal
Very,
page?
very.
there is
You
no
don't put
line. You
drama.
should be
You don't put drama on that
professional.
professional page.
The moment you put like my pages, I transferred over, so now it's not a personal page; it's all business.
Okay.
So me and Big Daddy get into it. I just got to go in the back and chalk that crap up. There is no posting on social media. If I'm running a business,
Yeah.
and I want people to, especially because I'm in the line of metaphysics, I'm telling people about finding true self.
Right.
And I'm gonna get on social media talking about he ain't come home yet. I'm just saying, you cannot do that.
You gotta turn around and
I had to make sure.
You know that, right?
Yeah,
Like I said, I said it,
Yeah.
just like Martin said, it really depends on
Your business.
what your business is because there's a bunch of people out here making money off of
Money.
posting their drama.
Kim
Right.
Kardashian, the
But that
Kardashians,
doesn't make
Kardashians
them.
have built
Kardashians are a good
an
example.
empire.
They have a product,
Yeah.
but there's no difference. When you come to Kim Kardashian page, she is the icon, the business, the person. She has built a brand.
Of drama.
But you have
That
to
she
ask
is
yourself,
able-
can you be
But
the
my
next
point is, she doesn't have a
Kardashian?
separation. So we were saying, is there a thin
What
line?
made
There
Kardashian?
But
is
she
not a
is the business, though. That's
She
the
is the
difference.
business.
Right.
Yeah,
She's
it's
the business.
So
If you're not a
Oh,
Kardashian,
that-
if you're not a Kardashian, you can't risk putting your personal business out there.
Right.
certain other-
But she got a model that works. That's my point. She got a business
She
model.
was with,
No,
she
but-
was a
But
celebrity.
so-
That's
so-
not
so-
So now we're
Right.
getting into ethics.
But
We're
wait,
getting
didn't
into
she get her-
ethics.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Because
And
she was with a black
that's why I say
celebrity.
that
That's
Well,
how she got her
different
the
name.
mother
line.
reached out to
Depends
Because
on
you're getting
the
into
brand.
ethics.
It depends
That's
on the
what I'm
brand.
saying.
And
But so if your
that's-
brand, if
nobody
your
did
brand
that.
is drama,
I'm sorry.
It's like a conversation.
But I'm saying Kardashian got her name because her mama, like we were just saying, leaked out a video. If she never slept with whoever the heck that was,
I thought Ray J did.
whoever it was. But
No, when she was
no.
with the football-
Here's
when she
where
was
I'm
with the
going with
football
that.
player.
Here's where I'm going with
Which
that.
football player?
When you talk about celebrity status,
Yes.
you become she became. You talk about Kardashian having to be in the brand, and she did.
As a
Based-
celebrity, you are your own brand.
Yeah,
right.
but she got her
We're not
brand.
celebrities. We're not
Yeah.
talking about
Well,
that.
that's
But
what
they're
I'm saying.
both-
You
they are
cannot put
businesses.
your personal
That's my
business
point.
out there.
Okay.
You
But
look
see,
at
he's-
celebrities.
but
You
see,
want to
he's
be
thinking- he's
taken
talking about, like,
seriously.
They are the
Willie is
business.
not the business.
Yeah,
He
that's
is the business.
Willie's business
Yes, he is.
selling
No,
houses.
Willie.
Jennifer's business
When we
is
learn that,
doing hair.
when we learn that
Yeah.
you are your business as a small, then we begin to build brands. And now we
I'm
shift
happy with that. Okay.
from
That's your
from
idea.
one level to another level in business. It's still business. It's
Yeah.
just different levels of business.
And I
And
think
so,
what he's trying
yeah.
to say is,
Okay.
like for Willie, he's selling houses. He's a realtor.
We know Dip's realty.
You're right,
That's him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. But on his social media page for his business, he doesn't need to have drama.
That's
Is
right.
what Troy's trying to say, because certain people will read that and be like, oh, wait a minute, him and his wife not getting along, or he and his brother had a fight. I don't want to go to him.
But then on the other hand, you have those that will see it and be like, oh, okay, that got shows. Yeah, and they're flipping houses.
Yeah,
with drama. So you have some people that
depends. You got to understand that.
So that drama works for certain people.
This is the thing. If we recognize that they recognize a business model that brings them cash. That's that.
Okay. I guess it also depends on what the goal is too.
Yeah.
It's also your goal is to make a certain amount regardless of how you get it.
Yeah.
Because Coca-Cola doesn't need any drama. Coca-Cola doesn't need any drama to make the money they're making. So if your goal doesn't have a cap on how much you're going to make, you just want to get by or whatever, then fine. If you're trying to be a Mark, if you're trying to be an Oprah, if you're trying to be a Michelle, or if Michelle trying to be a Michelle, or Oprah trying to be an Oprah, you're not going to get up there and be like, let me tell you, honey, Harpo slept with Gail, and you're not going to do that.
We don't know
because
people
but if you're trying to be Wendy Williams, that's what you're going to do.
Right.
Well, it depends also on what type of business you have. When people are looking up to you, I have a metaphysical counseling business.
Yes.
I'm saving lives. I got the Escambia sheriffs telling me to stop calling people and Baker Act people. Okay, so if I'm saving lives, I cannot go up there and be, let me tell you what this so-and-so did. Yeah. How is somebody with a problem going to trust in me if I can't take care of my own stuff? My own stuff has to, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong for those who do, but when you're talking, and like you said earlier, it depends on what level of when I say success, I'm not talking money. I'm talking about changing lives. I'm about changing lives. So my reputation, I think it's like the 13th, 14th law of power. Your reputation is important. So you cannot put your personal business out there if you're trying to make a difference.
For certain professions.
So I'm asking you about your profession. Mm-hmm. If I see that you have this certain drama, and then I was going through it, wouldn't that kind of make me feel that you
depends on the level. Depends on the see with metaphysics. I'm teaching how to let stuff go.
Okay.
So if I'm going up there going, baby, I'm just using you as an excuse. If I'm going up there talking about, let me tell you what Ray did. Yeah. But then I'm like, well, come to me and I'll help you handle what your husband or your wife did. I posted my personal stuff up there. I couldn't handle that behind closed doors. There's a way for us to work through our problem and be okay as a married couple. It does not have to be in social media. Now, like my first book, Jezebel's Last Dance. There's this.
Go ahead.
What'd you say? There's a scene in there where I talk about my attempted suicide. That is what got people because but that's me talking out of pain that this is what I went through in a book. And there's a workbook at the end so that because knowing my story don't mean a darn thing to you. If you don't mean a damn thing to you. If I tell you my story, it means nothing to you if it doesn't show you how to get through it.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm on social media and I said, this man did ABC, but I went my back and I meditated and I prayed and I put out my crystals or whatever. I'm just throwing hypothetics out there and we did okay. Okay, cool. But if I went out there and I tagged somebody, let's say I say, Big Daddy was dealing with Susie Blow, and I tagged Susie Blow's page, and this, that, what?
And y'all start going back and forth.
Back and forth.
and see, why are your clients your friends?
I don't have because my page is not because my page is okay. Now let me say this because my page is not set up. My page is set up as a public profile page. It's not set up as a friends type of, excuse me.
So
as a friend. No. It's all a profile
so that's
thing.
Your truth. That's what you set up.
So I can't put down there.
I got a friend page,
but what
I got a business page. Yeah. I understand my duality of who I am, and that at a certain time, it doesn't mean that I still. And I don't post drama on my page just because. It ain't nobody fucking.
But see, when I have drama, I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, Niecy, girl, I need to talk to you. We need to meet at the bar so we can talk. I don't need a personal Facebook page because I don't know all those people. I don't need 500 friends that I don't know. I need clients. So it's changed to a profile page.
So let me say this, because you're a business owner who chooses to use marketing as social media, use social media.
Right.
That's the responsibility or the cost that you have.
Right.
And that's
But
what I was saying about
Lamborghini,
you're
Porsche,
right.
all
Because
them
you
make
are
6
your own.
figures and don't run
Right.
not one commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true.
So that's my
They
point.
say
It's
don't.
different ways
He said
to do business.
Lamborghini,
And you have to
Porsche, all of them,
evaluate
they
what's
don't
best
work
for your
commercial,
business, what works for
but
your
they sell
business.
the
The only way
product.
you're going to find that out is if you try
Yeah.
different stuff.
But the owner of
Social
Porsche will
media
not
is
go out there and
important,
say his
but
wife just had an
It's
affair.
not a, you know.
So I want to
So
bring
it
it
just all
back to
depends
think
on the
through
type
the
of
small
business.
businesses that are in the group. We support Pensacola Black Business. There are a lot of small businesses, in fact, micro businesses where people operate gigs.
Mhm.
They have a day job and then they're trying to build a business on the side. And then hopefully that business on the side becomes their main business, their main bread and butter. And there are some in there that they do what they do all day long and they are hustling all day, every day to keep that business afloat and take it to the next level. And my identity, my thought process for you first with social media is tied to what does your brand look like? And is it consistent across social media?
Mhm.
Is it consistent across your website? And if you don't have a website right now, you're still in the 1900s. If you don't have a consistent social media profile, you don't have to be on every platform. You just should be on the platform where your customers are.
Yeah.
And it should be consistent where you are.
Okay.
Right? That would be professional because your customers that you are reaching as a target audience, right? Whoever that is, when you go through a boot camp or through an incubator, through a program, they teach you in startup world that you should identify your customer down to a profile, to a name, to an age group, to an ethnic identity, to the type of things
To
that
how
they
they
do
shop
if it's
online.
important to your business.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important to have consistency across your social media, how you're contacted on a regular basis. If you're a website, you may not put your number on there, right? You want to direct people to your website, but it's consistent, right? All your social medias point to the same. Your personal social media page or your business social media page isn't your name that then points to a business website, right? That's inconsistent.
Mhm.
Right. So it's consistency across branding, right? And that shows professionalism. And as the small businesses that are in the group, not thinking about the large scale things, we brought up a lot of things, but I think with the small businesses that are in the group, I think consistency is important. I think a brand that is consistent across all the platforms are important. And I think contact information is important in order to have professionalism in social media, and unprofessionalism looks like inconsistency.
Let me ask you this. Well, first of all, how many of y'all have websites? Okay. With your website, I did. I'm a part of 100 Black Men as well. So we have a Facebook page and we have a website. Shout out to Frank Ron Jackson, president. So we have a Facebook page and we have a website. Now, I really don't even see the need for our website because people will go to the Facebook page. All of our information is there. And really don't get too many views on our website. What do y'all think about that?
I agree.
Is the website in 2020 a necessity?
Yeah,
I
but
think
you
it is.
said-
I think it
You have
is.
an online
Because
I think it
everybody's
depends
not
on-
on, everybody's
You
not
got
on
a
it.
store, or you
Person
booking
know how to-
somebody. Yeah.
All right, Marcus, go ahead.
If you have a store,
Yeah.
or you're booking someone, yes, a website is super important for you on a customer level. It's all about perception. If I'm looking for funding for someone else for my business,
Okay,
they
yeah,
want a
yeah.
website.
They want a
do.
website.
So I think
Make
that
sure you're
part
legit.
of professionalism,
Yeah.
like I agree with everything you said, consistency upon all boards, and also understanding what each platform's intention for use was.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give you your best head start. They don't just put
Say that one more
Instagram.
time.
What
And
each
look at the microphone over there.
it is important to know what each platform's intention when it was created was used for. Instagram they want to know what's going on instantly in your business right now. Facebook is your face, your platform for, you get what I'm saying? Like that's your face. It's used to promote events. It can run a business technically. Your website really decides, okay, I want to sell products on here. I want to be able to let clients book me online. I read a comment, somebody said that Cash App was unprofessional. I don't agree with that.
Depends on the business.
It not just that, but you should be able to take money on all platforms.
Yeah, on all
So you
yes,
should need
yeah.
you need a
It
Cash
shouldn't
App,
be
a
your
Venmo,
only one.
PayPal.
You go to Walmart.
Walmart takes it, and
Walmart take Cash App.
And you need to know.
you have a Cash App card. Yeah,
no,
Cash App.
Doesn't the card have a
The
Visa
Cash
logo?
App card
Yes, it does.
is under
That's just
Cash
a
App.
regular debit card.
Yep.
Correct,
But they
it's
have a
Cash App.
business side to Cash App.
Yeah, the
Regular
Square is.
debit card. Taking a debit card is different than a Cash App.
But
You must-
Square
No,
is,
no,
but that's not
because
what
it's
I'm
still
saying.
under
That's
Cash
not what
App.
I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying is, as a business,
Yeah.
like Shanisha said earlier, it's our job to understand and research and do about our business.
Everybody have Cash App.
You should have, you know, if
Everybody did.
I just want to put out there that it's not unprofessional. It's the perception and knowing what the intent was. Cash App understood we want to make a way for people to exchange money really easy, really quickly, as well as businesses. So you can get a business Cash App.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it allows you to take money on all platforms. So it's the same thing with the website and the Instagram and the Facebook. And you got clients out there, you don't know they're out there. If you want them, you need to be able to pull them. And then to look at those analytics. We ignore those things a lot of times because we don't understand them. But they'll tell you, this post was performing the best. Use that.
I love it.
Turn around and post more. It tells you. Yeah, it tells you. So the intention behind each. That's why it doesn't work for everybody. You'd be like, oh, that ain't work for me.
Yeah.
Did you understand the intention behind it when you started using it? It's
I
instant.
use that.
You're right.
Anytime we
Because
promote a pay party.
you need that website for the grant.
Exactly, because they don't even want to talk to you unless you got a website. Right.
Think about it. All right, now,
But it's my understanding that, and I could be wrong, but this is just my understanding. Facebook uses an algorithm.
Mhm.
So if you guys are not on my Facebook feed, and I post out my event, my this, you're gonna see it. People in Maryland are not gonna see it because they're not on my Facebook list. I'm just saying my understanding. But because I've noticed in the past 40 days, because I've been watching my analytics from my website, I get more hits and form submissions on my website from people who came through Google through my SEOs than I do on my Facebook. So when you're talking about wanting to have Facebook, people that know me, people that follow me, people I follow, blah, 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 they're seeing everything that I'm doing. But they're not buying anything. But the people that are in New York, the people that are in Maryland that are coming across, they're looking for me. So I think, and I say that to say, I think it's a necessity, depending on what business you're in, to have. Because I had my sister take 15 minutes but she strove really hard, and she couldn't find you, but she ended up just giving me her list of stuff I got to come to your store and buy it. But when people are looking for a specific thing, they go to Google.
Yeah. And
down the fourth level down, then you'll see Facebook. And somebody told me, well, I couldn't find you. You're like 7 pages. How many sites do you have? I said, I only have one site. Where are you looking at? And there are other sources somehow, don't know how, that they get your information. My book is on 6, 7 different platforms. I didn't put them there.
I think it's different for everybody because when I search now, the majority of the times, I'm searching on Facebook because the reviews automatically pop up. I can see who owns it. I can see who else is like the page and shop there with them. So I can be like, oh, hey, Willie, I'm about to call this plumber. Have you ever used them? I see you like their page. And I can get an instant review from there right there.
Well, I don't knock social media, but my last big ticket was a director from, what was she? Chevy, and she was in Wisconsin. And that was my last big ticket, and she found me on Google.
Because SEOs are different. All that stuff is different.
Yeah.
You know.
But when you talk about do you need a website and you do need both because depending on your niche, perhaps. Because everybody's not looking on Facebook, and Facebook sets it up to where if they're not in your friends list, they're not going to find you.
You got to go back to knowing who
Jack.
your clients and who your customers are.
Let me tell you, I went to we support our group and did my posts. I got 36 responses. Okay. I paid for, now I realize what you was asking me about the sponsor. I paid Facebook in the beginning of this week. And they got 630 something views, but nobody clicked. But all my free clicks from our group I put a budget of $8 that's supposed to cover like 900 something a day from Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
And as of now, I'm at 2,500 from the ad and only not one sale. But when I look at the analytics from our group, I got 1,400 and I got 39 responses.
Yeah.
So,
all right, hold on a second. We're gonna move over here to our technical expert.
techie.
So come on, Chris, tell us why
All right.
Why?
on a technical level.
So let's get to the website. If you are a business owner and you don't have a website, you only exist on social media, you don't own anything. Facebook owns you.
Yeah.
Twitter
Oh,
owns you.
Facebook?
And if Facebook decides to change their algorithm,
That's
you
on them.
disappear.
My
Yeah.
point exactly.
Right? Your website is all about you and how you present yourself out to the public for everybody to see. This is where the start of your brand exists at as a website. It does not have to be a complex website. It can be very simple. It just needs to be your presentation of you and your business. That takes you to a level above and beyond Hustlenomics.
And everybody needs to write that down. You are not an owner unless you own a website. That is a really good one
I love
because
that.
you have to pay for your domain.
Yes.
And the word domain
Yep.
means just that.
Yeah.
Your space.
Your
in this
space.
world.
Yep.
Right? If you have a domain, now you have email. If I go to a website, mybusiness.com, but then you tell me to email you at gmail.com, I'm questioning your hustle.
Yeah,
I do that. I ain't gonna lie.
Your hustle.
I do that.
Info.
I refuse to change. You know
Come
why?
out.
The only reason why is because I respect the power of Google. Google, if you see that Gmail, you know that's legit. Vendor, and I don't have to pay $4.95 for an extra ashtonb.com. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Now,
I can just.
I ain't mad at those because I love Black business.
Yeah.
I'm not mad when I see that because running the Black Business Directory, I see a lot of businesses that have a domain name, right, that you go to, but then they give you a Gmail address. And in certain industries, okay, great. And in other industries, you should have all that wrapped together. Now, I'm not going to penalize them, but customers will, right, in some degree, right? I'm not going to because I'm aware, right? So if you own a domain name and you don't have an email on that domain name, I'm not saying you're not professional. I'm just saying you're coming in below your weight class that you
I just
should
don't
be
want to give them
punching at.
$4.99 for that. I feel some type of way about that $5. Only because it's that insignificant. It's only $5. That's insignificant.
I think it depends on where you get your content from.
With you, yeah.
Without a professional
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I buy my hosting package for my website, it's for 1 year. I get my domain name. It
And
comes
your
with email, and it comes with web space.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay extra for it, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to GoDaddy, you might get nickel and dime to death. But there
Yeah.
are other companies
Wix.
out there that give you the
I
complete
use
package,
Wix, I'm
right?
just saying.
And so it's knowing, right? Knowing is the key in the neighborhood, right? Do we know that we can buy packages where your hosting, your domain, and your web space and your email, is all in one package? You get that all together, right? So to keep moving beyond that, right? So having your Facebook presence, right? If you're on Facebook, you have a customer, you have a target audience on Facebook. You don't have Facebook just because, right?
Yeah.
There's no Bantu Cola on Snapchat because Snapchat
You don't
is
need a Snapchat.
right. I don't need a Snapchat
I
for
don't know
that
how to
business.
work. I don't even know.
It's not even if it's the intention was not there to market a business originally. People have made money. They we don't flip anything.
And
Yeah.
I don't
But the
understand.
intention was
It's
not
like
there, and I just don't know.
stay up for like
Right.
24
Yeah.
hours and it's gone. Yeah, so
Yeah, because my
Right.
son is all in. Yeah.
Right. If you're a professional, right, you have a resume, you're operating as a college student, and you don't have a LinkedIn professional profile page, that's where business is going to go to look for you to hire you as an
Yes.
employee, right?
Yes.
If you're a business and you only exist on Facebook and you don't have a LinkedIn, the business page, the business social media network, right, you're coming in below your weight class,
Yes.
right?
But what's the value of the LinkedIn? I
Okay.
say that.
Awesome.
I'm just being honest
awesome.
because I have used LinkedIn before, and it's not for me.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
never
feel
used
like
it.
I still have it, and people send me stuff. I be like, why are they? I'm not even. I don't
Your work
even.
anniversary.
My work anniversary.
So,
Work.
so
I don't do this anymore.
So when we talk about Facebook, right? Typically, Facebook is people's bedroom community of friends and family, right? Typically. LinkedIn is more of a professional profile, right? It's all about business. It's about subject matter experts, right? So imagine if you're on LinkedIn, right? You're talking to people from a professional standpoint. So these are typically people who are thinking from a standpoint of money as an employee or as a business. How you present on LinkedIn is totally different to how you present on Facebook. It's totally different to how you present on Twitter. It's totally different to how you present on Instagram, right? And it may be that your business may not, I won't even say that. I think it's all about how you present on LinkedIn, right? That will garner, right? LinkedIn has a different audience, and I think you can build a community around people who are professionals, right? Who want to bring certain types of tea to work, and you might reach them on LinkedIn that you would not reach them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? People who are dealing with the same ailments that, my sinuses or my heart pressure or whatever. If I'm on LinkedIn and I see an article from you that is at a professional state or something, or talking about the tea at work, right? And the brands of tea or a community coffee being just good, right? I don't drink coffee, but I do drink tea. Right. And so I drink a lot of a herbal tea that I buy from Walmart. Right. But if I know that, right, you saw the air quotes, right? You saw the air quotes, right? But if you are on Facebook, right, or excuse me, if you're on LinkedIn and you're presenting, hey, you want to de-stress your work life, right? Stop by, pick up this tea package, blah, blah, blah. Right? And it's all about that target audience. You may not win 1,000 people there like you might on Facebook, but they're different communities. People are in different mindsets. So if I'm on Facebook, I'm relaxed. If I'm on LinkedIn, I'm thinking totally different, right? Because I know that what I'm posting, employers and people in the professional space are looking at it differently. So it may be that the marketing that goes out on LinkedIn is different. But if you're a business, whether you are a yard man or you are a herbalist or you are a tech professional, right, having a presence on LinkedIn, I think is a good thing. Even if you only have a business page, right, and it's very minimal, right, posting content there maybe once in a while, right, is important.
There's also time that I have to prioritize, because if I get, I'm not saying that every client is not important. I value each one of them. But if I get 20 out of LinkedIn and I get 500 out of Facebook,
I'm gonna spend my time on Facebook.
I'm gonna spend on Facebook.
Absolutely.
But
So I think that's why
it also depends on who you follow on LinkedIn. Because like just last month, there was like, I don't know how long the freaking thread was for Linda Bird that does the Power of Attraction, where they were talking about all these I didn't know you at the time. They were talking about all these holistic teas and how do you find this and what do you do about that? And they were like, all you got to do is search for an herbalist and And it's like, you follow the right person. If you see them on Facebook, follow them on LinkedIn, because their money people
on LinkedIn.
Are on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
their
exactly.
followers are on Facebook, but their money people are on LinkedIn.
All right, so let's switch gears. Let's move it up a little bit. We're gonna cut off a lot of these topics because we're already at 8:30. Let's get to the last one. What are some ways to recover your reputation? Y'all have been on social media. Jennifer, you've been arguing about Willie on social media.
You gotta take that whole statement, man. I don't put that out in there.
You've been talking about.
Don't even use me as no example.
And now Salisha got a thing because her husband got a bald head, and now she's like, I don't want to go back to Jennifer to get my hair done because I'm feeling some type of way. Now, how do you fix that reputation? Not that example.
Start a whole new page.
I think you start a whole new page.
Change your salon
Whole new
name.
business, salon name, license.
Let that paint on the wall.
Yeah.
Sometimes people
Then
just
make a
want
whole
a
bunch of
simple
posts, new year, new
apology
me.
of whatever went wrong. So you suck it up, babe. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give you $10 off when you come back
I
again.
don't know about the $10
Well, I mean,
Hold
but
it
this
back.
brings people back.
Yeah.
If somebody's pissed off about the bald head thing and now they don't want to come to you, you know what? I'm gonna be mad, but I'm gonna save $10, so I'm gonna go back to you.
I'm not coming back if you took my hair off.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say you took the hair off.
You weren't taking your
Okay.
hair.
I'm not coming back.
No, for real though, say your reputation for whatever reason has been tarnished. Your reputation for selling shirts, you send out a batch 3 orders to different people in a row that were too small. All 3 of them have bad reviews. Well, Yelp, Google, Facebook, everything. How do you fix that?
I would reach out to each person.
You gotta work.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
I'd reach out to each individually,
Yeah.
and I would apologize for what I have done,
Mhm.
and I would offer a resolution, which would be to replace those shirts. I'd pay for the shipping, the same shirts in the correct size. If they don't want that, discount coupon.
Okay.
Because we've had to do that before, something like that. Or if they want their money back, I would even go so far as to refund them, what they paid,
Yeah.
because I messed up,
Okay.
and I would apologize. And one of those three generally will rectify the situation.
Okay.
Now, if those three don't, I don't know what else to try.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you should be rectified in one of those three ways, and that's how I'd resolve it.
I'm gonna say this: every business at some point is gonna have a bad review.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A probably even has more than two bad reviews, right? At that point, if you get a bad review of your reputation, then you just got to go in there and you got to make it up. Make sure you take ownership of it. You might, put out an apology, and then you just make sure you can treat every customer after that as best as possible, and then intentionally ask them, "Hey, do you mind leaving me a review?" And be there, because every business now, as soon as you do something, you pay for something, they want you to take a survey or they want you to leave a review. They want some type of feedback. So if people are there, you still gonna have your customer. If you mess up one time, you're still gonna have your base customer support. Ask your base customer support to come there and support you and help you out.
Now, one thing I've noticed lately is, let's say I go to Home Depot or go on their website and there's a product I want. You know how they have the reviews?
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing now more companies, when they read those reviews, they have someone answer that review. And they'll apologize.
Mm-hmm.
They'll ask, how can we resolve this? Or could you please contact us? Because let's say somebody ordered a $1,000 cabinet set.
Mm-hmm.
Half of it's broken when it comes. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, please contact me, because what are they going to offer you in return? We're going to either give you all your money back,
Mm-hmm.
or we're going to send you the exact same thing. You get what I'm saying? So companies understand how serious it is, because all of these companies, I don't care what it is, now they're going on there and they're apologizing and they're trying to rectify it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Wells Fargo is a good
also-
example.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo taking people money.
Yes.
They came out talking about something. We was good in 1898. We messed up one time. We can take y'all money. Please forgive us. We riding on.
Then they did it again.
I'm still over there at Wells Fargo right now.
I think sometimes too, because you're going to have people who are going to say something negative about your products in the category of haters.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a person that was a hater, and she gave my book rating a 1. So I gave away 50 free ebooks and asked for
50
reviews, and that one gave me a 1. So, because sometimes people will give you a negative review, because that's just how people are. Let me see how much freebie I can get back. And you work hard for what you do, so you're not going to be walking around giving away freebies just because you said it was messy or whatever, and you really just want your money back. So I think surveys are a really good tool to use, because my response was, well, I'm sorry that you find it repetitious. Is there anything I can do to resolve the situation to make you feel better? I never got a response back. So I posted it on social media and said, well, this is what I got. And I would like to know from you guys, the first 50 people that respond, I'm going to give a free ebook, so to let me know what I can do to improve. They came back with, well, she must have been a hater, because, honey, you just changed my life. People will try to get freebies out of you, and your haters will try to ruin your reputation. So you have, I think the point that I'm going home with is, when somebody gives you a bad review, is to utilize a survey, because it speaks volume when you have testimonies about your product on your site or your social media.
I want to say something. In regards to that, what do you do with the bad reputation? Because one bad experience tells 15 other people that they had a bad experience. So that means you have to institute what's called counter programming to that. One, you have to start with the self. Is this something that I actually did that was not correct? or if this wasn't to my standard or my quality. You evaluate what you gave that customer and be honest with yourself. And then once that, you watch your words. This is counter programming. Like that's what they do when they go in and they write underneath there. It's counter programming, so you don't walk away with a terrible experience and you don't not come back. You at least consider, because if you don't come rectify me, I'm not coming back. So it's counter programming. They turn around and then they do that also to hold you accountable in your responsibility in this, because I'm fixing it with you. And you said that this was the issue, and I'm telling you this was not the issue. And using words like I'm sorry, no, I apologize. Thank you for your patience. This is what's happened. We're not sure where the breakdown happened at, but we're responsible. How can we help you make it right? And then you have to fix it. That's fixing it in the open, because they blasted you in the open. You got to fix it in the open. Then you got to turn around and ask for more reviews, at least 15.
They pay those surveys,
right. So the reviews would be, that's how I think if we stop thinking about, well, what if I fail, and think about these are things I'm going to do, then we don't have to worry about that side of I didn't meet the quality standards and this happened. This is actually somebody who is a hater or whatever the case may be. You still have to address those too.
Yeah, you do.
Because people, I don't know it's a hater. I just know somebody had a bad review. I don't know it's a hater. So if you go, well, what can I do? I'm sorry you feel like that. I apologize. I thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then you get 15 other people to, like you said, review it.
Right.
I'm just asking for reviews. I'm not giving away no books.
Well, see, I did it because Amazon tells you. Amazon tells you.
I done punished myself. I already either lost the customer. And now I'm punishing myself because now I'm eating it out my pocket.
Well, see, with me, Amazon, like I said, Amazon tells you who the person is, and I knew who the person is. But suppose, because like you said, yes, let me take accountability. Maybe I didn't write this book as good as I thought I did.
Well, maybe that book just ain't for everybody.
And
that's true too. Yeah. But because that one moment on Amazon can mess me up, I'm going to give away, because it don't cost me anything. That 50 that I gave away, I damn near bought my second freaking house. I'm just saying, for the second one. 50 free giveaways on an ebook.
Right.
To say, well, girl, you need to fix this because no, I wasn't feeling it. Or yes, I was feeling it. And I got some that was like, well, it was a little graphic, but the most part I got was, it needs more at the end. I want to know what happened. No, you ain't supposed to know what happened. You're just supposed to know the experience.
All right. So we got a question from a call-in. This is gonna be the last question before we actually get into. I want each one of y'all just to talk about professionalism in your own words. What you did for your business, something that might have helped to the business owners that's listening in. All right. So the question was, that is an awesome tool survey. Whoever had surveys I did, JoJo's Hair Supply on 9 said that's an awesome tool. Word of mouth is the best marketing. A lot of fraud occurs with Cash App. Zelle is a safer option.
Zelle is the same thing
as insurance, right?
And Zelle is not as.
I'm saying you also have business insurance, like things like that.
And Zelle is you have to set that up through your bank. And it's not quick, and it's only a certain amount that you can do.
And everybody don't have Zelle.
Right.
So somebody wanted to do Zelle and get that free $5.
They give you your money back.
Just like that, $7 give you $5.
What books are y'all reading? And Marty, I want to start with you because you have gotten a lot of technical things in here today. Talk about programming. It sounds like you've either gone through a lot or you read something somewhere.
A lot of both. I read a lot of books. But I recognize that ain't for everybody. So,
name a good one that might have helped you.
There's a lot of them. So one that I like, Power versus Force, is another one. Pitch Anything is another one. If you can,
is that the one from Zig Ziglar?
If that's the one, if you can pitch your business in 3 minutes, I almost won a contest using that one, a business contest. So like that's one that I read a lot. And I read a lot of strategy books. I ain't gonna lie. I read stuff like The Art of War. Because the thing is to apply those different things to your business, because that's what it is. Yeah. It's all strategy. And so I read that. I read a lot of yogi books, chakra, just stuff like that. And I master my craft. So I read a lot of herbalism and business books, tea house books. But I also recognize that what works for me is what works for me. You know,
Yes.
it doesn't work for everybody. So those are the main ones that I read is Pitch Anything Business. What's his name? Dave Ramsey has a good one. Rich Bitch was a wonderful one. I read that one. It's awesome. Yeah, because they teach you they teach you principles of money that you're not learning and that you can apply in business. You get what I'm saying? Making your business work for you. If you open a business account, learning that you can put that money, some of that money, in some type of account or something to make money for you while you're running your business. You know, so that was a good one. Rich Bitch, I can't think of it.
You read a lot.
I do. I have a library.
It's good.
I read a lot.
That is awesome.
But that's just because that's the way I learn really fast. That's not for everybody. So for some people, it's YouTube. I believe in that. YouTube is the entrepreneurship world. You can figure out how to do anything. And it wasn't just reading books though. I took advantage of my banks. I went in and talked to them, a banker, so that I could understand how best to make my money work for me now. Because that was the issue. We got all this good business stuff, but we don't understand some finances. That's an issue for us. So a lot of finance books. Well, I can't say it. I listen to a lot of them.
Anybody else? What you reading?
Well, I read a lot, but I actually I enjoy following motivators like people who do motivation, inspirational things, and I also connect with those who are already where I want to be. I follow them, I study them, I watch them because that's where I want to be. So that's my goal. So and YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, like I say, inspirational things. I try to surround myself with positivity because I understand it is a mindset. This is something I've been doing for 4 years, but I didn't grow up being taught these things. You know, this is not something that I grew up doing. This is just something that, it's God-given talent. So I just continue to read, continue to invest in my talent, and of course, change of mindset definitely had to come into place, and that is, what are you doing in your spare time? What do you do? So that's what I do.
Moni, you are 100% right. You got to know your value, and everyone isn't gonna love your brand.
That's right.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is another one I think all people in business should read because it explains the quadrants of business that we don't understand and how we tend to be on just one side, and that's why we don't have sustainability, and we need to move to the other side of the quad with our business. So that's a good one because it teaches you how to look at your business long term and where you want to go, so you have a machine that works for you even when you can't work it.
That was good, but his next book,
I haven't read it yet. The
has
Money
so
Quadrant?
Much more in detail. It's the Money Quadrant, right?
Yeah, that's money.
Because I think the first book he explains the quad and how we need to move to the other side. Okay.
So
He just goes into more detail in the second one, whereas the first one was more so.
They want you to pay for the extra They want you to pay like $400 for the extra part of the book. I was like, I got the gist of it right now.
You would have $4.95.
It's the principle.
That's her favorite number, ain't it? I'm gonna go into your shop. I'm just gonna be like
I just
$4.95.
finished Augmentino Christ Consciousness.
Augmentino?
Augmentino.
Is that the name of the book?
That's the author.
Okay.
And the book is called Christ Consciousness. And then the World According to Nietzsche and the Kabbalion. It's really good. What? It's about the mind, and I'm getting ready to finish the Power of the Subconscious Mind.
All right. So I listen to a lot of podcasts now.
Okay.
So I went from reading a lot. So Dennis Kimbrough's Think and Grow Rich, which was a branch of the original book. The author gave that to Dennis Kimbrough so that he could expand on it, right? Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice in particular by Dennis Kimbrough kickstarted my whole change in pattern. Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics, I think is something that should be in every Black home and read, as well as Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that's a staple for young entrepreneurs to read because it does explain to them and help them see beyond just being an employee.
Right.
And there's other ways of growing your money. Some of the podcasts that I listen to are Two Black Guys with Good Credit. There's one called The Investor Show. There's Side Hustle School. There's Bigger Pockets, which is a real estate. Really? You can, all your media platforms typically allow you to access podcasts at this point in time. iTunes, there's Pocket Cast, there's Spotify, there's Google Podcasts. I actually run a podcast company called GraftedVineMedia.com. Shameless plug.
Say it one more time. Grafted by Media.
GraftedVineMedia.com.
Okay. GraftedVineMedia.com.
Yeah.
So if we want to listen to the podcast, we're going
No, if we want to have a podcast, you're going to hook us up.
Right. If you want a
Right,
podcast,
yeah.
we can set you up, and our whole goal is to just amplify
Yeah,
voices.
There you go. You want a podcast.
DJ 3X.
There's another great podcast called Masters of Scale. It's more so tech oriented, but they think through large scale concepts and dealing with customers at various pain points, right? And the whole thing is you may not understand all the tech that's happening, but you understand the scale of what they're trying to achieve and how they're trying to grow a business and helping you think through scale and scaling a business and delegation. There's a whole bunch of other podcasts, but I'll be quiet for now.
We have online The History of the Black Dollar by Angel Rich. Okay. And I do like Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Yeah.
He has a lot of nice educational books.
As a Man Thinketh is another one. That's
As a Man Thinketh. Anybody else? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and okay, you're looking at me like that. We're gonna go ahead and get into the part where each person in here is gonna tell one. You can tell one thing. You've been talking all day. You got a few things, but just tell one thing that if say let's see this. What would you tell your former self? And remember, the topic is professionalism. So if you could go back when you first started, 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, salute you 30 years ago, what would you tell yourself? Who wants to start off?
If I could talk to my 16-year-old self,
Okay.
I would tell him to don't shortchange yourself. And when you think you're finna fail, push because you're right at the brink of success. Because there's been so many times since then that I've had opportunities to do things and to grow and started businesses. But when I thought failure was at the door, I quit or I pivoted to something else.
Right.
And come to realize if I would have just lasted a little bit longer, right, success was right there. Sometimes there was a time period to pivot, but more than likely, if I would have just stayed the course, success was right around the corner. I just didn't know.
There's a quote. It's success is the next day away.
Yeah.
All right.
If
You gonna
I
say it
was,
for last?
oh, me.
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
You talking to me, Cece?
No, you go ahead.
If I was to go back, I'd tell my 18-year-old self, you are the chosen one. No one can take your power unless you give it to them.
Back on this side of the table. Yeah.
I guess not to limit myself and be confident. Just don't stay stuck in this box. Just Pensacola alone. It's safe to branch out and retail and sell things in other places and build that platform beyond here locally.
Okay. I would have told you to not stop and let your hair down.
Podcast.
Yeah. She had a podcast before podcast was a thing.
But let your hair down was
She
not making
started
money.
out with just a few people. It's called Let Your Hair Down. And we would meet at I think it was Fridays.
Yeah,
And
Tie
it
Dye
started out with
Fridays,
4 or 5 people.
Bring it back.
And
It could have been.
it got to be so big.
A
She moved it from Fridays to where?
Yeah.
That's illegal.
To the Old Bunny Club. Where?
She had the whole building because it was that many people interested
Yeah,
in
just hearing other people's.
And you bringing it back what day?
You know what? Yeah, bring it back.
Won't you do
This
it?
fall.
This fall.
Bring it back.
You heard it. You heard it.
We gonna be keeping our eye out for it, y'all.
Well, not even this fall. It's coming back because I've been wanting to do it and I miss it a lot. And I think about where it started and where it could have been now if I would have just continued it. I could have had those followers and that online platform because it was getting there. It was getting to that point.
I'll be ready for you.
All right.
You got an online comment. Consistency and confidence is everything. Procrastination is deadly.
Yes.
Amen.
Keisha, your dreams are endless and your achievements are in your hands. All right, let's see. We're back over here.
I guess I would tell my 16-year-old self, don't let fear stop you. You know, the sky, we're really not even the sky, you can go beyond the sky. Anything and everything that you wish to do or be, you can be. Just don't let fear stop you.
Yeah. Nice. Come on, Mark.
I was just thinking about that. That's a really good question. My thoughts are to say I don't regret anything because it got me to this point now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been my journey. At the same time, I would probably tell myself that there are many different me's and different dimensions based on the choices I make right now. And if I want to be happy, I need to align my choices to that highest dimension. That would be what I would probably tell myself. Because I know that.
You know?
Okay. What I would tell myself, know your worth and know what you've been called to do and do it. Do it. Don't let nothing stop you.
Nothing stop you. Mr. Dukes?
I would say 16-year-old self, don't be afraid to make mistakes and just go for it. Go for it. If you fall, just get up and keep going. Tell them what I did. Tell you again.
I went, but I want to close out with the concept that Gary Vee always talks about. He says, Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, just look up Gary Vee. He's all over the place.
Social media king.
Yeah, social media king.
Does he have a website though?
Yeah, he does.
But you know what? He could go without one because he's the social media king. Like that's his thing. He brought himself. He could.
He doesn't need a grant.
You don't need a grant, right?
Oh,
he gives grants.
Well, right.
Gary
They don't ask him about his website. Oh, you Gary Vee? Oh, yeah.
Gary Vee always talks about going to an old folks home and talking to old people about the things they regret. Mm-hmm. And they always talk about, I wish I would have. I should have done. I'm sad that I didn't. Right? When you talk to people on their deathbeds. So go out, go get it, and go do it, and don't waste time.
Like when you do it. Go out. Say that one time. Go out.
Go out, go get it.
Don't waste time.
And don't waste time.
Right. Marty, you have had several comments on here. All of them are talking about how good your tea is.
I got a product.
I wasn't going to mention it.
I got a product.
I love you, sister. Herb Shop in Boston. So, if y'all are around, Marty, tell them the address.
I'm in the hood. I'm at 301.
First of all, you're blocked from my house.
I love it. I love it.
Okay,
I'm right there next to Gonzalez Court. Have you been? Well, you were just there.
I'm a block away from you.
I love it. I love it. Baby mama come up there. Hustle man come up there. Hustle man. Yeah. So it's 3014 North 9th Avenue, Suite B. And we're there Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 2.
On Mondays.
11 to 2. And Wednesdays I'm there from 6 to 8. And on Saturdays from 9 to 2.
Does baby mama drink tea?
She does come and ask me for tea. She does. And I'm happy to give it to her. Now, when she asks me for, she knows she can't get no dollars.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you want this apple? And she'll take
I'll try that next time.
That's what she said.
baby mama?
If y'all don't know who baby
You gotta
mama
know.
is,
I was getting ready to ask that next.
Oh, you gotta be over there on the east side.
I don't know. Yeah, you gotta be on the east side to know who baby mama is. But Hustle Man too. You know, all of them. It's like a gathering of old men over there. It's beautiful to see all the, melanin and them sitting there
You said
talking.
beautiful?
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
know
beautiful.
another word. Okay, that's true.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful because, like he said, visit the elders. You know what I'm saying? I walk past them. People kind of walk past and forget about those people. You get what I'm saying? And at this point, we can't forget about anybody.
They do that. They just chilling. You know, Ash.
And I love, I sit here and say, hey, how y'all doing? Hey, you know what I mean? Here's $1, honey. Go get you a drink. Like, I get that. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So I love being over there. But I think that that's why people love coming over there too. It's entertaining. It's fun. Yeah.
We're gonna open up questions if anybody has them that's watching in live. Any of y'all final remarks? Want to say anything? Before I close it out.
I'm gonna leave, but I was hoping because you said you had the final. I was like, darn, I don't want to say it now
No,
because
go ahead. Look, that was my final. Do you?
But I think when we're talking the Black community and we're talking about building business, I know we have fun and all that, but it's imperative to have knowledge of self before you go jumping into any type of venture. Because if you don't know who you are, how does anybody trust you? If you don't know who you are, how do you know how far you can soar? And if you don't know how far you can soar, why should anybody even walk your way? Know who you are in self before you open your doors and try to serve anyone else.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and close it out at this point. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are right now in the beautiful Signature Event Lounge. If you need to host any party, baby showers, bridal showers, trapping pains, but you can't do those.
But you can attend.
You can attend. And that date again for the next trapping paint?
July 5th.
July 5th. If you've never been to a trapping paint, just go on the group site, look. Matter of fact, we're going to post it in just a little bit, a couple videos from the past. I don't think there's ever been anybody that didn't have a great time here. There's nice little libations, for those of y'all that don't know what that is. Willie makes an amazing punch that is quite strong.
Yes, indeed.
And that's where we're at right now. So, look at the page. And
Don't they have something coming up on the 28th?
I'm coming around. Goodness. If y'all need any tea, if you have high blood pressure, Marty, can you please tell them exactly? Plug your shop real quick.
Yes.
Let the people know.
I'm an herbalist. I'm a certified herbalist, and I believe in plant medicine. I believe in, and that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, just straight, is working in tea, working in herbs. I have training to do that to help with symptoms that, and I really, African American community is extremely important to me because we suffer so much disproportionately in the health realm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big reason, like one of our missions is because of where we're at, we're able to help relieve some of the burden from the healthcare system.
Yeah.
And that's basically why we don't get what we need. And we have so many disparities is because of that. And then we don't have good relationships with our doctors. So an herbalist is kind of there to help you. It's the gap filler in between the doctor and the patient.
Jen, you want to talk about what you do?
Well, okay.
I mean, just a little more excitement.
Well, okay. So I have Signature Styles that is right inside Signature Event Lounge. So it's like a 2-in-1 creative space is what I call it. I have that. I have the event space, and then I have Paint Night Social. And the reason why I do so many different things because I feel like downtown, other than casket flights, we are not represented. The things that our interests are not represented. Anything that we would enjoy going to, we have to just kind of like fall in place and go to whatever it was, Wild Grapes. When I saw that situation that happened a couple years ago, I was like, you know what? If I can create the platform, create the atmosphere for my people to come to and enjoy themselves, I'm not hung up on trying to get that other dollar. That's not me. I've been blessed. I have everything I need. And if I can service my people, make sure they have a good time, that is what I do. That's why I created Paint Night Social for us buyers.
And she also, don't you have room in your salon?
I do. I have a space available for a esthetician, anyone who needs like a small little intimate space. Hairstylist, if you are someone who is a go-getter, if you like to teach classes or whatever your expertise is, we have the perfect space for it. So I need someone who is driven. Don't just be want to be stuck behind a chair. Don't do that. Just be motivated to do more and educate us.
Okay. On to Mr. Demps.
Well, everybody can go and check me out at www.bigwillysales.com.
He has a website, y'all.
Bigwillysales.com. And check me out on Facebook at Willie Demps Gulf Coast Real Estate Expert. Like the page. It's not just all about coming by, come to sell. Give out a lot of educational information to understand the market, to understand the home buying process, to understand the selling process. Talking about investments, commercials, residential, all things real estate. It's one of the best ways to start building generational wealth to have a base. And so I like to educate people. I come from an education background, taught for a number of years, and I'm just trying to educate our people on how they can, get to the path of home ownership. And what I pride myself on is being able to overcome a lot of the roadblocks that are put in front of our people. And a lot of times we think that, the path to home ownership is not possible. So I pride myself on getting past those roadblocks and getting our folks in the homes.
Yeah. Right. And he also is a property appraiser, so he can buy your house, sell your house, and appraise your house.
Property appraiser.
All right. What you say?
Not a property appraiser.
I thought you was a property appraiser.
No, not a property
That's your
appraiser.
sister.
My sister is a home inspector.
Oh, man, I thought you was a property appraiser.
No.
Okay.
I can give your property value to CMA. I can't say I'm a
You
property
got
appraiser.
everything in house that you need.
Yeah,
to buy
we
a
got,
house.
we got everything.
Real estate experts.
One
Yeah.
shop stop.
There you go.
One stop shop.
There you go.
We got Mr. Ramsey over here.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris. Again, I have a couple platforms. The first is bantucola.com, which is a website, and we are a platform dedicated to the future prosperity of a Black Pensacola. The goal behind that is to build a Black business directory, so we have an account of what we have in our community so that we can practice group economics and put in place principles to help foster and build ourselves up. I'm not worried about other communities. I'm just showing self-love to us. It's not about hate. It's about love towards us. The second business that I have, which is a for-profit business, is GraftedVineMedia.com. And Grafted Vine Media is all about amplifying voices. It is a podcasting platform. We do both audio, we can do video, and we can master and engineer your mix.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Man, I thought you was going.
I'm not gonna follow
You know,
that.
like going on.
That's all right. Get it. Get
All
it.
right. Look, I got to go to somebody else that I know got a whole lot going on. Let's go on down here to Sweet.
Okay, I'm co-owner of Military Greek Gear. This is my other half over here. Come here. Come here.
They can't see you from over there, man. Come on,
Dan.
hurry up. We got other people
Come on.
that got going.
Watch your step going over there, too.
We also have another business,
Come on, Dan.
computer repair
Oh,
business.
Come on down.
He's also a computer technician. He had his own business and then decided to go work for Dell. We have Military Greek Gear. We do sublimation of clothing for military Greek fraternity, sororities, but also for other businesses and organizations.
He also has his own softball team, and he makes. If you stand up there, look at these jerseys. He makes all of his own jerseys. The ball is a little small. All right, come on, Doc.
I am Dr. Zelda Hayes. I am the founder of Inner Vibration Spiritual Clinic. It is a counseling company that allows you to live your best life and help you connect to higher consciousness.
Okay.
I am also the founder of a registered trademark retail company called Chi, which stands for Supreme Human Energy. And I am the founder of Alpha Online University for Women, which helps women who have been victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. My support system is sitting back there, Mr. Hayes, and every time I want to quit, he's making me stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning. Right. So I'm gonna give him his props over there. But and that's actually his name on my phone, Big Daddy Hayes. Yeah.
Right. Tell him about your.
I am having an event here at the Signature Event Lounge on Sunday the 28th from 2 to 5, and we will be talking about how my counseling. I will be the first counseling company of my sort in the downtown Pensacola area at the Blunt Building. And at the Blunt Building, 13 Palafox Place. Okay. But the event, the grand opening event, will be here. I'm inviting everyone to come down for a champagne toast, lightly fresh toast.
How much was the champagne?
The event is free. It's a champagne toast along with cake and light refreshments. I'm also going to be having some of my products from the She Store, as well as my spiritual oils and my published books. I'm going to bring a few of my Jezebel's Last Dance, which is readers' discretion is advised. This is a grown folks event because we will be talking about things about relationships, life. Troy, don't make me laugh. Sorry. So I'm inviting everybody to come down and BYOM, the new trend. Bring your own mask. We will be practicing safe. I almost said the wrong way. Social distancing.
Can you give us that date and time one more time?
That date and time again is this Sunday, June 28th from 2 to 5 here at the Signature Event Lounge. I want to shout out to my sponsors, Pamela Shomo. She's a realtor or something. Oops, sorry, in Virginia. And also Miss Jennifer has been powerfully, I can't even, she has been an awesome help with this event as well. And Miss Phoebe from Tom Thumb, who's been sponsoring me. We've had some sponsors step in, so I just want to say thank you to them. So, and don't forget Big Daddy Hayes. He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to sponsor some more champagne this weekend.
All right, come on, Tanisi, what you got?
Okay, so I'm Tanisi. I'm the owner of Pensacola. I'm saying Pensacola. Jesus,
it's empty.
Prosperous Styles Boutique, located at 4501 Twin Oaks Drive, Suite 104. I do custom items. I do jewelry. I do shirts. I do graphics. I do a little bit of everything. I'm also stepping out and teaching young entrepreneurs. So I'm doing classes with them for the next 5 weeks, teaching them how to just kind of step out and push their own businesses. So I do.
Okay, let's go before we get off of you. Now, tell us just a little more about the Girls Entrepreneur Camp.
Well, it's not. It is. I wanted to do at least 5 girls because I didn't want to have my hands too full. So as of right now, I have 1 spot open for another, girl. But it's just kind of me stepping out. This is my first time with them, so I wanted to kind of. They're going to learn how to do, how to do a business logo. Just kind of tap into what is it that they want to do, because that's what they need to find out first. What do we kind of pinpoint in on, and just different ways to market, different ways to, just kind of step out, building up their confidence, to even, market their product, knowing their worth, and money management, things of that nature, even opening up a banking account with their mom's help and everything. But that's kind of
help them do all that. Open the bank account too far.
No, but taking them in the right steps, saving money, investing in themselves. If they are selling the product,
become a part of that?
Oh, they can just contact me on my business page,
Which is
Prosperous Styles Boutique, or they can reach out to me, Tanisian McKinney's, aka Miss Prosperous. You know, all my information is listed.
okay. And we also have DJ Frank 3X. He is the man behind the scenes, the one that's making all the live streaming possible right now. Want to give him a nice shout out. Appreciate all the hard work, brother. And we had a walk-in come in. Come on, man. Tell me what to do. Come on, man. Come on. You need your lawn cut. You need a DJ. You need a hype man. You need somebody to come in with a real small
Keeps
shirt
my
on.
yard up.
Come on, man. Tell me who you are, man.
Somebody get this beer. I've been talking about. My name is Demetrius Johnson, also owner and founder of DJ's Lawn Service. On the landscaping business, you can find my business page on Facebook. We have an Instagram page. Phone number 850-455-5961.
Say that again, slow.
485-5961. So I'm looking cockeyed at one time. We provide basic landscaping needs, basic mow, cut, trim. We also do payment plans that nobody ever does. I do a payment plan. So if you're on a fixed budget, you want everything done right now, we'll do that, and we'll just run that out as a 12-month payment plan. Everybody
Wow.
All
That's
righty.
one thing nobody does except cash out. I'll take all forms of payment. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Hendricks. I actually got a customer from his website that he put me on.
Oh!
I even asked him to put me on the site. She came to me, told me about it, and I was really frustrated. I was like, "Hey, we got that."
Did he just say fluster?
Yeah, black people, he's flustered too. And so I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Hendricks. That was another reason why I came up here, is because I wanted to meet him formally and say thank you.
How about that? Is that why you put the shiny shoes on? Okay, so
Put on a bit.
Chief David Alexander could not make it tonight, but he sends his regards, and he said he'll be on the panel for next month. Let's see, Moni, I'm pretty sure I just messed her name up, but Henny Pennies.
Monet.
I'll say it again.
Yeah, Monet. I say
Monet.
pennies.
Okay, Henny Pennies. She's running specials all next week. Just don't tell her I told you that. Is there anybody else that needed to say anything before we leave? All right, thank y'all so much for watching. We're going to be doing this the last Thursday of every month from now on. If you want to sponsor the next one, we're going to have, you'll be able to put your banner behind me. We'll be doing commercials. You can come up, you can talk about it, or whoever is moderating the one next time, they'll be able to talk about your business. You can email or message any of the admin on the page, myself, Troy Cowles, Chris Hendricks, Jennifer Demps, and the no-show Pete Williams. He's probably at his studio right now, though. He doesn't leave that place. Miss Reed, Jenny Faith Reed. She wants to know why none of us have on masks right now. We are social distancing now. We are social distancing. And we have hand sanitizer. But thank y'all very much for tuning in. God bless. Good night.